welcome back to a new video. So today I'm going to be doing another autism reviews video, and today I'm going to be reviewing these wireless earphones. So if you've been here a while, then you will know that I am autistic, and you'll also know what the autism review series is. But if you don't, basically it's just a series where I give my autistic opinion about different products. Mostly they are related to autism or things that help me with my autism, but occasionally things like when I reviewed the iPad Pro, it was kind of linked in certain ways, but I kind of just wanted to review it. So these reviews are mainly for anyone who is autistic or is trying to buy something for someone autistic and wants an actually autistic opinion, but really it also applies to pretty much anyone. I'm going to be giving just a standard review of the product, going through the pros and cons and things as well. It's just that I also add in the extra accessibility side of things. So, if you have also been around here a while, you'll remember when I reviewed my noise cancelling headphones. I still love them. I gave them quite a good review. So yeah, if you want to know how I reviewed those headphones, you can go and check that review out. So yeah, I am still very happy with those headphones. However, I wanted specifically a pair of earphones that I could wear, basically so that I could wear a hat as well as earphones. Because obviously if I've got my big headphones on, I can't wear a hat. And as someone who is incredibly fair and has also recently cut their hair very short, it's quite important for me to be able to wear a hat in the summer months so that I don't burn. So yeah, I was looking for a pair of wireless earphones, and earphones and headphones in general have always been something that I personally have struggled to find. However, earphones especially are so difficult to find. First of all, they're just an incredibly personal thing. Everyone has their own personal preference on what you want, and certain designs are more mainstream than others. But also, I have an iPhone. It's an iPhone 8, I believe. Screen is filthy. And so obviously the natural thing that would pair best with the phone is AirPods. However, I despise AirPods. With every fibre of my being. I think they're terribly designed, the shape is awful, they consistently fall out of your ears, and the battery doesn't last. My dad has some, I think my mum has my dad's old cast-offs as well. They find that they're fine, although my dad does complain that they fall out a lot, which personally, that's a pretty big deal breaker for me, because it's no use if they fall out. But so yeah, AirPods do not work for me, and a lot of other headphones they're modelled similarly, and it's just incredibly difficult to find a quality pair of earphones that aren't like £300. When I was looking for earphones, I had a list of criteria that I needed them to meet, so let me tell you what that was. First of all, I needed them to be Bluetooth because, like every other person on the planet, I find wires annoying. I needed them to have a decent amount of charge and a charging case so that I could be confident that they wouldn't run out of battery. And I also needed them to have the overhooky ear part, which you can't really see. Let me take one out. So I needed this overhooky ear part so that it didn't fall out of my ears, basically, because I do have Tourette's, and so therefore I tend to knock things a lot. Including my ears. I also tend to play with my ears quite a lot and my earrings and things, just as like a fidget. So yeah, it was important that they were stable. And of course, they needed to be noise cancelling. That was essential. I also wanted them to not cost £300, which was, pretty essential. And I'm glad to say that these did not cost £300. They cost £30, which is far more affordable. So now that you know what I was looking for in a pair of earphones, let me tell you how they actually stood up. So I'm going to do my usual pros and cons list, go through everything I thought about them, as well as a few other thoughts in between. So the first thing to mention is that they are in fact noise cancelling. They do cancel out the noise, which is great. I'm not sure exactly about the noise cancelling technology specifically. However, if you look at them, they are the kind of headphones that have this little squishy bit. And headphones like this are inherently noise cancelling, not because of the technology itself, but because you're blocking your ear canal, which therefore naturally means you can't hear because you've blocked off your ears. So I'm not sure about the actual noise cancelling technology. There is apparently some noise cancelling technology, but yeah, I think most of the noise cancelling from these earphones comes from the fact that you're stuffing an earphone in your ear canal. So that's just something to bear in mind. I'm not sure exactly how much the noise cancelling technology is doing. But yeah, the point is they do in fact block out the noise, which is what I wanted. So whether it's the noise cancelling technology or the fact that I've stuffed something in my ear is kind of irrelevant, because the point is it does the job. Like I mentioned earlier, they were pretty cheap. They were 30 quid off Amazon, which is pretty good for earphones. Honestly, all kinds of technology are just ludicrously expensive, especially headphones. Like, for what they are, I'm just not paying £300 for that. Even if I could afford it, I'm just not. So yeah, £30 is pretty affordable, and they are pretty good. In terms of sound quality, if you watch the previous headphones review that I did, you'll know that honestly sound quality isn't hugely important to me. You know, as long as it's not obviously tinny and terrible, I don't really mind. You know, I'm not really a stickler for, you know, oh, I've got to have the most amazing audio quality. I'm just not bothered. However, I can say that these actually do have shockingly good audio quality. The audio quality in these little earphones is far better than my big over-ear headphones, which is surprising. But a pleasant surprise, especially given how cheap they were. So again, I'm sure it's not industry standard or anything, but the audio quality is really good. So, you know, if audio quality is something that matters to you, you're not going to lose out by having these earphones, basically, or not in my opinion, anyway. Something else I was sort of looking for when I was looking at earphones was just that they're not ugly, basically. Because I find a lot of, you know, earphones and headphones, they can just sometimes be just ugly. That's the bottom line of it. They're just ugly. A lot of the headphones especially, they're too big and clunky, and there's just too much to them. Especially as a girl, they're just, you know, a lot of these things are designed for men who are generally bigger, and so therefore they, you know, I mean, I have actually quite a big head. But still, compared to a man's, it's just not, like, they just look terrible, you know, and they usually come with like horrible red or green accents and things, and they're just ugly. That's the bottom line of it. And so I was looking for ones that weren't ugly, basically. And I think these ones are pretty good. They're black, although if you actually look at the description on Amazon, they're apparently light black, which I believe the actual term for that is grey, and they're also not grey. they're just black. So I don't know who decided this was light black. But yeah, they perhaps need to check on that employee. And yeah, they're very simple in design, very, very streamlined, very simple, no, you know, no fancy things or anything. There's no horrible bright red accents. It's just a little black earphone. The little over ear thing is very nice and simple as well. And yeah, they're very simple, very sleek designed, and they're not terribly ugly. The final pro is that they do actually have fairly good battery life. I was worried about these because they're, I don't know, I just kind of thought that because they're so much smaller than headphones, they would naturally have a shorter battery life, and their battery life is a little bit shorter than my headphones, but it's still pretty good. The little case it comes in, it has these lights at the bottom which are not lit up at the moment, but when you put the headphone in, you can just about see the blue lights at the bottom, so you can see they are all charged currently, and you can see the red light. That's because I just put that one back in. So yeah, you can tell how much charge they have, and those blue lights come up every time you take them in or out, so you're always aware of how much charge they've got. And they also charge incredibly quickly. It comes with a little cable to charge it, and they charge fully in about an hour and a half, which is really good because my over-ear headphones take hours to charge fully. You know, I'm talking like at least 3 to 4 hours, which is kind of crappy. But you know, I also don't have to charge those very often. So yeah, these charge really quickly and they last a pretty long time, and it also has the added benefit of you're sort of always aware of how charged they are. I would say on average, if you were to wear them like all day, then you'd probably get like a good 2.5 days of charge out of them. They've definitely got solid like 18 to 24 hours charge in them. They're pretty good. You know, there's probably better out there, but for 30 quid, they're pretty good, you know? So to wrap up the pros, they are successfully noise cancelling. The sound quality is pretty damn good. They're cheap, they are not ugly, and they have a pretty damn good battery life. However, there are definitely a few cons. The first one is something I noticed immediately, and that is just that the case is very flimsy. You can kind of see it, but this lid is incredibly thin. This hinge is not very stable. I could easily pull that back and snap it with no effort. So yeah, this case is not particularly great. The actual bottom bit of it, that's fine. It's just that this lid is incredibly flimsy. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to hear that, but I think you can quite clearly see how flimsy it is. So yeah, if you've got kids or pets, or if you're just clumsy and have Tourette's like me, just be mindful that the lid is a bit delicate. But you know, again, they were 30 quid, so I wasn't expecting the highest quality. Now, the next con is quite specific to me, and I'm not sure if other people will have the same issue, but I wanted to mention it. It's quite a complex con. So yeah, let's just get into it. Basically, I have a very big head. However, my ears are very small. You can kind of see I have the ears of an 8-year-old. And so I struggle to find headphones and earphones because my ears are so small, but my head is so big. And so these headphones, I actually wasn't really expecting them to fit great. And they fit better than I expected them to, but there are still fit issues. So you can see the little squishy bit. The headphones come with alternative squishy things. So you can, there's a smaller one and a larger one depending on how big your ears are. And that bit's obviously to actually block your ear canal. So if you've got particularly large ears, then you can obviously go up a size so that it's more noise cancelling. Or if you're like a child, because like I said, I've got small ears and these ones it comes with are fine. So I don't know, if you've got teeny tiny ears, then you can go down a size if you need to. But yeah, I find that this one is fine. However, if I put this in, let me take off my glasses so you can see. But basically, you can kind of see that this bit that hooks over does not actually touch my ear at any point. It's not a huge problem, it doesn't actually mean anything, it doesn't mean they fall out or anything. It's just something I noticed that I thought was kind of amusing. And it may cause problems for other people. It doesn't for me. I don't find that they do fall out. It's just I wanted the hook there so that if they did, it kind of, you know, it's a little bit of extra security. So yeah, that bit is not a huge con, but it is just something I wanted to mention because it could affect other people. The thing that is the biggest con is that this bit is too big for my ear. So I'm not talking about the squishy bit inside, I'm talking about this actual part of the headphone is too big because I have such small ears, and therefore it pushes on the bones in my ear, which gives me a headache after a certain amount of time. So, you know, it's very difficult to show you because obviously it's, you know, all you can see is the headphone pretty much. But basically it pushes on this bone in my ear, which eventually gives me a headache. And again, if you've been around here a lot, then you'll know that I suffer with chronic headaches as well as migraines, so that's not great. So yeah, that is the biggest con, is that they do give me a headache after a little while. We're talking maybe 40 minutes to an hour, depending on what day it is, and you know how much of a headache I already had previously. So yeah, they do give me a headache. They're not really for long-term use, which is frustrating, but they are actually some of the smallest ones I was able to find, and that's just a symptom of the fact that I have very small ears. If you also have small ears like me, possibly don't consider getting these because they probably will give you a headache. That being said, you know, if you don't struggle with headaches, then it might not bother you, but if you do and you also have incredibly small ears like me, then maybe reconsider. And that is really the biggest con. You know, again, that's kind of quite personal to me. If you have just regular sized ears, or, you know, large ears or anything, then they will probably be absolutely fine, especially given, you know, everything else I said that was good about them. But if you do have small ears, or if you're like a child, or if you're buying them for a child, then perhaps reconsider, because they don't work on small ears just because they do give you a headache because they push on the wrong parts of the ear. So yeah, those are all the pros and cons, so now let's just go over everything all together and I will tell you whether or not I recommend them. So overall, I think I would give them a 3 out of 5 stars. I hummed and hawed over that rating for a long time because there are a lot of pros. You know, they do noise cancel very well. The sound quality, I was really impressed with the sound quality. That was something that did really impress me. They're cheap, they're nice looking, and they do have a pretty decent battery life, you know. So all in all, they work really well. The only, you know, sort of superficial con is that the case is kind of shit. But you know, as long as you look after it and you're not chucking it down the stairs, then it should be fine. You know, maybe don't let kids near it, but you know, it's not a huge thing. It's not like it fell apart when I touched it or anything. I just noticed that it is somewhat flimsy. Giving all of those pros, I would give it a higher rating, but I personally chose to knock it down a few stars because it does give me a headache. Now, if you just have regular sized ears and you're not like me with teeny tiny ears, then I would really recommend these earphones. Like I said, the sound quality is really good. They do noise cancel and they're really cheap and great for what they are. You know, you definitely get your money's worth. So, you know, as long as you have sort of regular sized ears so that the, you know, the bit that's in your ear is not going to cause you any headaches, then honestly I would recommend them. They're really great for what they are, for the price and everything. So yeah, if you have regular sized ears and you do not struggle with headaches, then yeah, I absolutely would recommend them. They're really affordable and you get some great noise cancelling earphones. However, if you are like me and have tiny ears or struggle with headaches at all, I probably wouldn't recommend them. That being said, even though they do give me a headache after a while, I do still use mine. You know, I'm not gonna just like throw them away or anything. I do use them. I keep them in my bag. But it's just sort of, I'm not necessarily going to stop looking for noise cancelling earphones. They'll do for now. They're fine as long as I just don't use them for too long. I'm just going to keep an eye out for any that may be better in the future. So all in all, I would recommend them in general to the larger public, but it's just that, you know, if you do fall under any of the smaller categories that I mentioned, just perhaps reconsider your specific situation. One other thing I just quickly wanted to mention before I end this video is that on the listing on Amazon it says that they are waterproof. They are not. Okay, if you read further into the description, it says waterproof for rain or using at the gyms because they can withstand sweat. Okay, so it's for sweat and rain. They're not waterproof, you can't use them underwater. So yeah, I just wanted to make you guys aware of that because it does claim they're waterproof in the title, but they're not if you actually read further. But yeah, that is now the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, as usual, feel free to put them in the comments below or contact me on Instagram. I will be happy to answer any questions you have about them. And yeah, I hope this review was helpful to anyone, pretty much. Like it if you enjoyed and or if you found it helpful. Comment down below if you have any questions or if you just want to tell me something. Tell me if you have any recommendations for earphones and things because I'm sure people watching this video will find it helpful. And like I said, I'm still kind of on the lookout for any that could be better. So leave any links down below and I'll check them out. And yeah, subscribe if you want more. I do weekly vlogs as well as loads more autism reviews videos and a whole load of other miscellaneous crap in between, including behind the scenes videos of photo shoots, readathons, just loads of other things basically, and eventually more travel vlogs once we're allowed to do that again. Subscribe if you don't want to miss any of that, and I will see you in the next video.